As I said, my name is Brian Campbell, and I am the regional coordinator for Northeast Oklahoma. As regional coordinator, we serve as a liaison between the state agency and the K-12 administrators and the technology centers out there in the field. And as you know, in Oklahoma, we have quite a few of those. First off, I'd like to introduce our team. We have Gina Hubbard on there. Gina Hubbard is our educational partnership and customized services manager. And we're very thankful for Gina. She takes good care of us and looks after us. And also on the call today are my fellow colleagues, my fellow teammates. They are also regional coordinators, and that includes Karen Talbot. And you'll see her waving there in the screen. We have Whitney Blaylock. We also have Kara Patterson. And then we also have Patrick Clannon. Patrick also serves at the Oklahoma Department of Commerce. The rest of us, though, we serve the schools that are in our territories. And like I said, acting as a liaison between those schools and the state agency. And I also see a few other state staff on there. I see Lori Loffer, and we work very closely with her. I see Justin Seiler. He's my next door neighbor here at the state agency. And I saw Scott Nemechek on there earlier. So anyway, we'll have a few more on there as well, I'm sure. So anyway, we're very thankful and glad that you could join us today. We think we've got a good day planned for you. If this is your first OEIP, welcome. We hope you enjoy it. Should you want to use the content that you see in this, we will be recording this, and we'll email you the information about this later on. We also have future dates where we're going to have OEIPs, and we hope that you would join us there as well. Karen we have in the past had these OEIPs, and we always record them, and we have a YouTube site that we'll put those to. So you can actually go back and look at previous OEIPs if you would like to. Karen has posted the site there in the chat. So certainly take advantage of that and look at that. Our goal is to provide insight for educators that they can take this content and take it back to their classroom, and to provide information for their students that will help them make educated choices regarding their career pathway and personal success in whatever career path they would choose. Today's session will be posted on our OEIP site, YouTube channel within the next week. Also, what we would like to do at this point in time is we cannot host and produce these events without the help of sponsors. And so without that, it would not be possible. Just to show you some of our sponsors that we have right here, P&K Equipment, the Oklahoma Pork Council, our virtual OEIP here, our division here at the state agency, the Oklahoma Department of Career Tech Labs, and of course today we couldn't have done this without the help of our agriculture division here at the State Department of Career Tech. So thank you all for being a part of this. And we certainly enjoy these partnerships, and we know that we cannot do it without you. Also, the Oklahoma Aeronautic Commissions is there. I don't want to forget them. They've been an important part of these OEIPs in the past and will continue to be in the future. Now, we're going to do a little activity here, because the thing that makes these OEIPs successful is interaction, and we want to interact with you. So we are going to do a little activity here just so we can kind of get to know who you are, and to give our speakers today a little chance to know what drives you and what you are interested in. So on the screen right now, you'll see a little sign that says, tell us what your all-time favorite food is. So if you could only eat one thing for the rest of your life, what would that be? I've already had one person tell me it would be tacos today. You can put it in the chat, or you can put it here on the slide. If you would like to put it on the slide, and that's where we'd like to see that interaction, just run your cursor up to where it says view options at the top of your screen. Click on the down arrow. When you do that, you'll see where you can annotate. We want you to choose text and type in what your favorite food is. I see Amanda's as mac and cheese. I'd probably be right there with you. I was going to say pizza. I see chocolate. There's some bacon showing up. One time my son got in trouble because my other son knew he loved bacon. And so he took a Sharpie and wrote on the dash of our car, "I love bacon," just because he knew my other son sit there all the time and he thought he might like that. So he got in trouble for that, obviously. But anyway, we had that nice reminder for a long time that my son Michael liked bacon. So anyway, I've seen a lot of things. There's chicken, hamburgers, hideaway, hamburger pizza. You're talking to a Stillwater guy here. So that's a good choice right there. And I see there's a few in the chat as well. I hope you guys aren't getting hungry now. Hope you had a good breakfast. Yeah, there I see steak, pizza, chocolate milk, Kung Pao chicken. Wonder how spicy Willie likes that. Waffles, very good. Corn. Okay, guys, we have quite a buffet listed here. Thank you for your interaction there. I love that. I was going to call it a smorgasbord. But anyway, I enjoy that participation. One of the things, though, that I really want to address, there was a purpose for us using that specific activity, because everything that was listed in the chat or on the screen has a direct tie-in to agriculture education. Every aspect of every part of that food, even the chocolate milk, I know it doesn't come from chocolate cows, but even the chocolate milk, everything in that activity has some tie-in to someone that had a passion for a career in agriculture. And so because of that, we have just kind of done a little exercise to show that everything that we're going to talk about today impacts us in some way. So with that, I would like to take a little bit of time. I do see some classrooms that are joining us. I see Rebecca Stiles. I see your class joining us. Amanda Burke, I thought I saw your class pop up there as well. I see Locust Grove Ag. I'm sure there's some more. If you want to open up your screen and show us, that'd be great. Thank you guys so much for joining us. The end result of what we're doing here is trying to get to our students, and you guys play a big impact in this. Thank you for being here. We appreciate that. My first speaker today is Scott Eisenhower. He's the general manager for P&K Equipment and P&K West. Scott is he's been with Equipment Operates. Let me start back. Scott Eisenhower is the general manager of P&K Equipment and P&K Midwest. He operates 20 John Deere dealerships in Oklahoma and Arkansas and approximately 460 employees. He also operates P&K Midwest, which consists of 9 John Deere stores in East Central Iowa. He employs through that about 225. Scott grew up on a family farm near Newkirk, Oklahoma. He attended Oklahoma State University and graduated in 1999, a top 10 senior from OSU's College of Business with a Bachelor of Science in Business Administration. Upon graduation, Scott began his career in the agriculture business industry by working for the John Deere Company in various roles for about 7.5 years. Then in 2006, he joined P&K Equipment and has been with them ever since. Throughout his tenure at P&K, and I thought this was pretty amazing, he has expanded John Deere from 4 dealerships when they first started to 29 that exist today. So good job, Scott. Good job. Scott is very active in many community and civic organizations and has achieved numerous honors in his involvement. These include he's the current board of directors member and current council member for the OSU Alumni Association. He is also on the board of governors for the OSU Foundation. He's in class 12 of the Oklahoma Agriculture Leadership Program. He is a past president and current state legislative committee for the Southwest Association Western Equipment Dealers Association. He is the National FFA Honorary Degree recipient and a former FFA Foundation, Oklahoma FFA Foundation board member and current president. He is past president and 2017 show honoree for the Sirloin Club of Oklahoma. And it was a nice conversation earlier to know that their past few meetings have been canceled due to weather. Thank you, Kylie. He was recognized as OSU Spears School of Business Outstanding Young Alumni, and I have been in that business building many times. Scott and his wife, Melissa, reside in Edmond, Oklahoma, and with their 2 children, Katie and Mason, Scott and his family are active members at Messiah Lutheran Church in Oklahoma City. Scott, if I could say welcome, I'm sure there'd be a big round of applause, but everybody give Scott a big virtual round of applause. Thank you, Scott.
Well, thank you, Brian, for that introduction. I greatly appreciate that. You said way too much there. So, but we will jump in and get started here. I'm going to share my screen. I've got a presentation here to give. So I'm going to put my hand at this, see if this will work for us here. So. All right, everybody see my screen now? Pretty good? Okay, very good. Well, again, it's a pleasure, it's an honor to be here and spend a little time with everyone today. As Brian mentioned, we're going to spend some time talking about agriculture and careers in agriculture today. And certainly, you know, Kylie and I both have a definite passion for agriculture and what we do to feed and clothe the world. And you know, it's a great career. I guess I would start off by saying to be in. You know, there's no doubt that as we go forward, there's always going to be a need to feed and clothe the world. The world's population continues to grow, and you know, it's there's always going to be more and more need for ag products. No doubt about that. And so that's really what I want to spend a little time today going through here, and see if I can get my presentation is locked up here. Not sure what. May try this again. So see if. Sorry about that. All right, there we go. So we're going to kind of call this. It's with what we're going to talk about today. You know, it's not just a career choice, it's a choice career, as I've said, a career in agriculture. And you know, I think Kylie and I are gonna kind of talk different spectrums here, but at the end of the day, it's all about agriculture, and it's all about serving those in our ag communities. And you know, I'm gonna talk about the John Deere business, but certainly there's all kinds of opportunities in rural Oklahoma in other ag business related industries. So again, even though I'm going to be talking about P&K and kind of the John Deere and the equipment business, a lot of it just bleeds over to a lot of other ag businesses and other ag opportunities throughout rural Oklahoma and across the country, really. So Brian already mentioned a little bit about P&K, so just a quick slide here of our stores. We've got about 460 employees throughout our 20 locations in Oklahoma and Arkansas. Very, very proud. So got some great employees with a lot of long-term tenure and people who are committed to our business and passionate about it. You know, I tell everybody from the John Deere business, we're in the customer service business. No matter what your job is in our dealership, we're all in the customer service business, and we're taking care of customers. You know, even though we're inherently agriculturally driven, it is all about customer service and being there for the customer when they need us. So kind of mentioned, you know, it really is, if you've got a passion, and tell everybody, if you've got a passion for agriculture and you got a passion for taking care of customers, keeping customers going, then this is a great business to be in. It's very, very rewarding when you can see the fruits of your labor, helping customers, helping keep them running, help them keep them in the field, harvesting their crop, planting their crops, doing all of those types of things. So you know, I tell everybody, you know, there's a lot of cyclical businesses out there, but one thing with agriculture is it's very, very solid. It's very stable. Yeah, we've got a few ups and downs here and there, but we don't have the highs and lows that some other businesses have. There's always going to be a steady need for agriculture, production agriculture, taking care of the land and being able to produce the food and fiber that feed and clothe the world. So That's kind of the basis for what we do in our business. And I'm going to talk about today about some of the opportunities in with P&K and the agriculture business. As I say, we an organization like ours, we offer excellent benefits, which a lot of businesses do in rural Oklahoma. We're a large enough organization that we can offer a lot of our or all of our employees excellent benefits, health care, 401k retirement plans, a lot of the things that you might only think you could get in a big city, these are available to our employees in rural Oklahoma, rural areas of the state. So certainly we have that. We've got a varied customer base in our business. We deal with everything from the smallest lawnmower, weed eater, to the biggest combine, four-wheel drive tractor, cotton picker, and everything in between. So, we have a very, very varied customer base. Brian mentioned our stores in Iowa, obviously lots of large ag up in that part of the country. Definitely have a lot of large ag here, but also have a lot of small tractor, hay business, lawn and garden business, utility vehicle business. So there's all kinds of customers that we serve in our business. So it certainly keeps things interesting, and it gives us a lot of different types of customers to take care of and work with. So in our business, we have a lot of stores in very rural areas. We also have stores in metropolitan and suburb type of areas. So again, we have depending on where someone chooses to live, there's a lot of opportunities to be in those areas. And so very, very, very much so, lots of opportunities to be where you want to be. We talk about careers in our business, and I'm going to get into kind of some of the specific jobs here in a minute, but kind of talking about education and training. P&K is very supportive of all the educational opportunities that are available. Not that there's a specific degree for a lot of our jobs. We have a lot of our employees who have degrees in ag business. We have I'll talk in a minute about our training programs for our technicians. We utilize a lot of the career tech programs with diesel mechanics, with business administration, those types of skills that administrative type of folks and our employees utilize. So we have a lot of on-the-job training, ongoing training and education with all of our employees too. So don't limit yourself thinking that there's a specific training you have to do. Obviously, training is very, very important, and we are very supportive. And we've got some programs that we support, offer scholarships for. And I'll get into those here in a minute. But there's a wide variety of arenas that employees can come from. Brian mentioned that I was actually a business major in school. I wasn't an ag major at OSU. Grew up on a farm, but got into the John Deere business through the College of Business. So you never know where your skill sets and where your experiences are going to take you and lead you to. I also made a note on here: communication skills, very important in our business. We talk about customer service and being able to communicate effectively with customers and fellow employees is very, very important in our business. So I would encourage the students out there, make sure that you're practicing, that you're involved in those types of activities and classes, that you learn excellent communication skills, speaking, being able to communicate electronically, all of the different ways, talking on the phone, greeting people face to face, having those interactive conversations. Very, very important when you're talking about a field in a customer service business. As I kind of jump ahead here, kind of into the some of the positions that we have in our organization. Obviously, we have a lot of sales positions. We are customer service and sales, so we got sales, complete goods, where you sell equipment. We've got parts sales staff, parts sales professionals. A lot of those are some sort of commission based. So there's excellent earning opportunities for people who want to be commission based, who are driven to sell. There's a lot of our key salespeople out there, are six-figure type of salaries in these rural areas. So again, depending on what your skill set is and what your drive and desires are, a lot of sales positions in our organization. Obviously, we've got management positions in the stores, store managers, parts department managers, service department managers. So a lot of areas for growth and advancement and career development as you go through and work your way up through our organization and through the different locations that might be available there. Technology, and I put this on a slide, but really technology deals with every single thing we do. Everyone is involved with some sort of technology in the equipment today. We actually have a dedicated team of what we call integrated solutions, our P&K pinpoint team. And those are individuals who really the team focuses on and specializes in all of the GPS technology as we work to make our producers more efficient, more effective, and growing more crops on fewer acres. Again, we've got a dedicated team. We're always looking for team members who are interested in that. A lot of these folks move into other roles within our organization, but there's technology on every product from lawnmowers today up to the biggest ag equipment that there is. I put a couple of the new technologies on the screen here with autonomy. Many of you probably saw the autonomous tractor that John Deere rolled out just a few weeks ago at the technology show. An 8R series tractor now will drive through the field and steer itself with a chisel plow. So a lot of neat things with See and Spray, where the sprayer can recognize a weed and know when to spray and then when not to spray for being more efficient. So lots of careers, lots of opportunities for those who might be interested in technology and really helping customers with that. And we did training last week. Trained almost 150 of our employees throughout our organization just on the technology and how do we help understand these and how do we work with our customers to utilize these technologies to make them more efficient and more effective at their operations. Next one here, and I'm going to spend a few minutes on this one. This is one that's near and dear to our heart, is the service technicians. And back in the day, it used to be nobody wanted to be a mechanic, if you want to call it. But these are very highly skilled, good opportunity for earnings and potential to grow. The skills needed for technicians today are significantly different than what they were 25 to 30 years ago. Every technician has a laptop today. We're still working and fixing equipment, but we're using computers to diagnose and figure out what needs to be done and fix these machines. So this is an excellent opportunity for a lot of our agriculture students, those kids that grew up on farms, that went through FFA, that love working with their hands, have that knowledge and skill set of understanding how machines operate. And so this is some programs we're really excited to sponsor. This is where we spend a significant portion of our training efforts with new employees. So I put some there on the screen, but we have a partnership. There's a program at OSUIT in Okmulgee. It's a 2-year associate's degree that trains on specifically technician training program for ag equipment. There's a couple of John Deere Ag Tech programs that we also sponsor up in Kansas. Again, 2-year degree programs. P&K offers $10,000 scholarships for students to go through those programs. Part of those programs are coming back to our stores and spend internships, which are paid internships while you're working at the stores. And so, pretty much when we sponsor a student, and as long as a student gives it their all, they've got a job before they ever start school. And I think that's the really neat thing about the training that some of these programs offer. We're giving these employees a job before they ever start school. So again, a great opportunities within our dealerships is in the service technician training programs. Again, there's a lot of opportunities for advancement. Most of these employees starting out straight out of their associate's degree are probably going to start in that $18 to $20 an hour plus some incentive on top of that. So again, and a lot of our key technicians are well beyond that as they grow in knowledge and experience. So just would say we've got about 20 some students that work in our stores that have gone through these programs. We currently have 9 students in the program over at OSU IT. We'll have probably 6 or 8 more that will start this fall. So a great opportunity to work and live in communities and have a great career, great paying career, great benefits, and enjoy doing what a lot of these rural folks like to do. Obviously, in our business, we have a lot of other types of staff. I've kind of hit on some of the ones that we have a lot of different roles in, but obviously in an ag business or any business as far as that goes, we have other accounting, clerical roles, store clerks. We have service clerks, service writers who help take care of customers at the stores. We've got human resources departments. We've got folks who work in our fleet management, safety. We've got a marketing and advertising team. Got IT and certainly opportunities for more corporate level leadership. So just to give a flavor as you come in as employees or students out of school come into working in our business or maybe a similar ag business, there's just keep in mind and keep an open mind of all the opportunities within a business that might be available for what you might like, what fits your skill sets, and where you can contribute and have a passion and be good at what you do. So again, lots of different opportunities with our organization and with maybe other ag businesses just in general out there. So really, I'm kind of wrap up here and want to kind of close a couple of slides here. We kind of talked about this. I always tell there's always going to be a need for more agriculture solutions to care for the land. So we always need a passion, or we always need employees with a passion for the agricultural industry. I a lot of times will tell people I'm interviewing, if you've got a passion for agriculture and you've got a passion for customer service, taking care of customers, then this is a great business for you to be in. We have a lot of fun doing it, and again, it's a very rewarding opportunity to serve customers in the ag industry. We also do a lot of giving back to our communities. We're very involved, as Brian mentioned. I'm involved in a lot of different organizations. We encourage our employees also to be involved in their communities, be involved in organizations, be involved in the FFA, the 4-H, be on the school board, help out, at church, whatever it is, whatever again is your passion. You're representing P&K, you're representing our industry. And we encourage you to be involved in those types of things and give back to all the communities that so much give to us. So I would say that's a backbone of P&K and our organization, and what we believe in, and we like to be involved and give back to our communities as well. So with that, I guess I would just kind of wrap up. If there's ever any questions, I put a slide here with some contact information. We also will be, I think Brian was mentioned as we were kind of starting the call today, he mentioned the FFA convention as we were kind of talking, and certainly we will be at the FFA convention, the state convention in downtown Tulsa here in a few weeks. We'll be in the career show. You can stop by and see us. We can visit some more. We also will be doing a career success workshop at the FFA convention Wednesday morning at 11 o'clock, I believe it is. And would encourage, we will have a number of our different employees. We'll have some of the students from our technician training program. We'll have some of our P&K Pinpoint technology folks there. I'll have a couple of salespeople who graduated from OSU there. So there will be all those folks there to interact with and can share more information about working in the equipment business, working for P&K, and just working in the ag business in general. So with that, thank you all for the opportunity to be here today to share a little bit about P&K and being involved in the ag business in the state of Oklahoma. It's been an honor, privilege. If there's any questions, I'll be glad to answer any questions now, or I think Brian, we'll have some opportunity for questions later as well, whatever works. So again, thank you guys.
Scott, thank you so much. We appreciate that information and how informative that was. I mean, I remember as a little kid growing up, my granddad had a ranch, and of course we had he had a big John Deere tractor out there. And so I think if you grew up that way, you probably learned to say John Deere before you said mama and papa.
That's
But
right.
it was very common anyway. Uh,
Brian, I don't see any comments or questions from the chat, but I do want to say, as a in the hometown of where P&K started with Dr. Pollard, live outside of Wacomas area, Enid, and we very much appreciate they do what they say they're going to do, and use them personally on the farm, and know a lot of kids that have benefited from the programs that they have, and they are a big supporter of our career tech programs. And so thank you very much for what you guys do every single day.
Yeah. Thank you very much for those comments. Absolutely. Barry and Roxanne are very involved in communities, and that bleeds down throughout our whole organization, I believe. So.
Well, before I had turned it over to Scott, I was getting a little choked up. I guess something happened, but anyway, I think I'm a little better now. Who knows, it may come back. A couple of things I did want to comment on though. Should you have questions, please put them in the chat. We have people that are monitoring the chat, and we'll get to those as soon as our presenters finish. I think Scott has agreed to stay on until the end. If we have any questions, if you think of any, certainly post those and we'll get those to Scott, and then that way we'll be able to talk in regards to questions you might have. The other thing that I really failed to mention, and I should kick myself for that, but the sponsorships that we had, one of the things I failed to mention was that because of our sponsors, and we're so appreciative of what they do, we do have, at the end of this, we're going to have 2 lucky winners win a $50 gift card. And so be sure to stay on. And if you can show us who you are and being out there, that even helps us. And so I've got people that are monitoring the chat, seeing who's out there, and we'll award those at the end of our presentation today. So certainly stick around for that, and join us, online like this, so we can see who you are. But anyway, I did want to make sure I covered those, went back and got those. Again, Scott, thank you very much. We appreciate that information and that input, and it was just very informative. And I have no doubt our next presenter will be as well. Let me introduce Kylie Denise. She is the Executive Director of the Oklahoma Pork Council, headed in Oklahoma City. Kylie has led the association in a series of deep and broad range initiatives and activities, including strategic planning, issues management, and advocacy, stakeholder engagement, and leads a very highly qualified team and staff, and an elected board of directors representing pork producers, allies, and partners from across the state. She most recently worked as Senior Director of Consumer Marketing at the National Pork Board, providing strategic direction of pork checkoff consumer marketing efforts, and the goal of increasing acceptance and purchase pork products by consumers at the retail and food service level. She has also served as pork checkoff coordinator point for the nation's 42 state pork associations, and directed the pork industry's annual investment strategy aimed at attracting youth to a career in the swine industry. Prior to working at the National Pork Board, Kylie spent 3 years as advertising agency account manager at Lessing Flynn in Des Moines, Iowa. She developed integrated marketing campaigns for the agency's top tier clients, including Vermeer, Ag Leader Technology, Kimmin, and National Pork Board, among others. Denise was named, I'm using your last name there, Kylie, was named 2019 National Agri-Marketing Association Next Gen Marketer, and has been recognized by the American Marketing Association, the National Agri-Marketing Association, and the Public Relations Society of America for her work in advertising, copywriting, social media, and magazine development. Kylie, I think you've been a busy girl, is what it sounds like to me. She received her bachelor's degree and master's degree in agricultural communications at Oklahoma State University. And sorry, I got to do this, go Pokes. And she also has an associate degree in agribusiness from Black Hawk College in Illinois. She resides on a ranch outside of Oklahoma City with her husband and son. Today, Kylie is going to share her knowledge about the Oklahoma pork industry and the careers that we might be looking at in that area. And so I am very excited because this is new ground for me. I mean, all I know about pork is sausage and bacon and ham. So anyway, Kylie, you take it away. Thank you so much.
Brian, thank you for that intro. I'll just do a quick check. You all can see my screen. Wonderful. Okay, well, hello to folks across Oklahoma. Scott, thanks for the opportunity to follow you. I was taking a lot of notes, and as articulated, the P&K brand is known in Oklahoma for a reason, because you're good folks with good equipment, and it's just a real special opportunity for me today to be on the line with Scott. So my bio was read there, and I have the pleasure of serving as the Oklahoma Pork Council Executive Director, and I've been doing that since last March. So I'm almost on my 1-year work anniversary. However, I've dedicated my entire career really to the pork industry, whether it was through a agency client relationship, actually working at the National Pork Board, or today serving Oklahoma's pork industry. Here on the slide, I've got 2 hashtags, and I thought, really important to relate to the audience. And if I could say 2 things that the young people in classrooms across the state should remember about me, is that I'm #Team Pork. I'm really proud to be a part of the pork industry, and we call ourselves a team affectionately, and then I'm very ag proud. My background goes deep into agriculture. I chose agriculture, and there's no better place really to live, work, and enjoy the products of agriculture. So with that, let's get started. And I first want to share a bit about ag, and then our industry, and then talk about some people and the career specifically. So just a quick reminder for those of you that know ag, you know that ag is the world's single largest employer. And for those of you that don't, it's pretty easy to connect the dots to put ag as the largest employer. If you think of the things we eat, the clothes we wear, right, the machinery, the animals, ag is significant. And again, just really proud to be involved in the world's single largest employer. And to talk about pork specifically, there are about 60,000 pork producers across the US. They market about 115 million pigs each year for a total annual gross income of more than $20 billion across the industry. So a sizable industry, of course, sizable in Oklahoma. We'll talk about that in just a moment. And there are 550,000 jobs in the pork industry. So no matter what you want to do, whatever the field might be, perhaps it's accounting, perhaps it's being an animal caretaker, maybe it's a veterinarian, or maybe it's a career like my own that works in the association space, there is a job for you in the pork industry. So I want to talk a little bit about Oklahoma's pork industry. That was the broad perspective across the US. So let's talk about Oklahoma specifically. And by the numbers here in the state, the cattle industry accounts for about 3.27 billion in annual cash receipts. The pork industry is 976 million, and then the broiler industry is 729 million. So just to put that into perspective, pork here in the state of Oklahoma would be the 2nd largest ag enterprise. And in the pork industry, we really talk about 3 things. It's pigs, people, and the planet. And so that's how we will proceed through talking about some of these stats. Specifically here in our state, we're known as the baby pig state. And that is because we have about 460,000 sows. And those 460,000 sows put us 5th in the total US swine herd. So we've got farms across the state that have large numbers of mama pigs that have cute baby pigs like these. And then those pigs are fed out and either marketed here in the state of Oklahoma, or largely fed out in the upper Midwest states where the grains are, the corn and beans, like Iowa, Illinois, for example. Then from the people perspective, about 1 out of every 50 person here in Oklahoma, there's a job connected to the pork industry, or to total that up, that's about 34,000 jobs. And here on the screen, there's a photo of our actual president-elect, Angie Johnson, and her husband, Darren, that are, proud pig farmers. They reside in the Holdenville community area, and you'll meet Angie here in just a little bit in more detail. Then the third piece that we talk about, pigs, people, then the planet. And one thing that we do as an industry is really focus on the sustainability and leaving the land better than what we found it. And so I've got a few stats here just to share the environmental impact of the pork industry. We have reduced our land usage by 75%. We've reduced our carbon footprint by 7.7%, our water use by 25.1%, and our energy use by 7%. Now, to put that into perspective, because in my opinion, the relative piece always matters most, that would mean US citizens would have to quit using refrigerators and take 90 fewer showers per year to make similar environmental impacts. And so just goes to show that doing those things right on the farm every day in a state like Oklahoma, where we are known to be a top 10 pork producing state, those factors can come to be, so we can continue to use refrigerators, which I think we all enjoy. And then of course showers, which we all enjoy, as well as, your classmates sitting next to you. So to summarize the Oklahoma pork industry, pork production here in our state contributes to $5.7 billion in annual revenue. And again, we're a top 10 pork producing state. We are number 9 in terms of total production. And then again, number 5 in terms of the size of our sow herd. So here are a few faces that I want to introduce you to. And when we transition into talking about careers, these would be the folks that are in the pork industry, and maybe you know them because of the role that they have in the top left, Baz Warner, for training people on seaboard farms across the country. Maybe you know them because of you have a young person in your classroom, or you are the young person who shows pigs. And the photo on the second row, second from the left, Brian Arnold and a 4-H'er from Perkins, they're showing. Or even myself, right? I've got a photo here of being inside of a sow farm with a baby pig. And then one person that I'm sure that would be well known in the circle would be Brett Ramsey, who's on our Oklahoma Pork Council Board of Directors. But specifically his role is blue and gold and being the next generation to take over the blue and gold company. This is the pork industry. The folks that you would probably know based on the title, based on the logo on their shirt. However, there are so many more folks and so many more opportunities in pork that I want to talk about next. And I want to start here with one particular example. And this gentleman here on screen, this is Trey Smith, who is our current ambassador at the Oklahoma Pork Council. He was our intern. He's evolved into the ambassador role. So on the right-hand side of the screen in 2021, that's last year, Trey was actually a part of this book that he's reading. He was a collaborator in writing a book, which you can now find on Amazon. It's called Bigology. And for those classrooms across the state, if you're interested in a copy, please do let me know and we can get you one. But Trey, back up, a few years to 2016. This is Trey when he was in high school. And Trey's kind of first experience into the pork industry. He had shown pigs growing up. He's from kind of the Tulsa area and lived around, has family near Wynnewood. But back in 2016, Trey was a high schooler that was, questioning, like, what do I want to do with, my life, or what route should I take if I want to go to Oklahoma State? And back in 2016, Trey was really interested in dental school. Today, Trey, I shared a little bit where he is and what he's doing. He's very much focused on working in pork, and it was because of just that one experience of traveling with the Oklahoma Pork Council through the youth leadership trip that really changed the trajectory of Trey's career. And today, even I mentioned that Trey's now in a role of ambassador for the Oklahoma Pork Council. He's in Ninnekah talking with the students there about the pork industry, and will be traveling the state really the rest of this spring semester while he's at OSU talking about pork and careers in pork. So special shout out to Trey, and just want to put it into perspective. It's those little decisions you make that can really change what you do. And for Trey, that was the pork industry in which we're so thankful for. Here's one more thing on Trey. We have a group that assembles every fall in Stillwater called the Pork Industry Group, and we work very closely with the Food and Animal Sciences department there, specifically with Dr. Carter. But that photo of Trey from 2016 was when he first did the high school experience. Then this photo is from last fall when Trey led the group of college students through an 8-week experience at Oklahoma State. So just want to show, again, those little decisions can make such a difference. So now I want to talk about a few more folks that are in pork, the pork industry here in Oklahoma. that you might not expect, or you might know them as a neighbor or friend of the community, but when you really dig down into their career, they are what make up that number of 34,000 folks in Oklahoma's pork industry. So this is Keith Reiner. Keith works for the Hanover Company. They're headquartered in Enid. And Keith, not only does he do logistics for Hanover, but he also loves to cook. And if you're from the Enid area, you would know that every April, there is the Red Dirt Barbecue. Of course, Keith's t-shirt says number 16 on it. This year will be number 17. And Keith feeds the community, gives back to the community in so many different ways, loves to do bacon on a skewer like this and sprinkle it in some brown sugar, and it's incredible. But Keith specifically will, for his company, work with the trucking companies to either move pigs or move feed, all of those different pieces within logistics. So an example of a pork industry career you may not have thought of. Next would be Allison Bernheide. Allison is an employee for Merck Animal Health, and specifically she does marketing for the company. So she'll take the science, the very complex pieces of a new vaccine or new product, and put it into layman's terms for you and I to understand and to know when it makes sense to give to your animal, what the withdrawal might be, and so on from there. So Allison's got a pork industry career that you might not have thought of. The next I'd like to introduce you to, this is Dr. Brett Kaysen. He is the VP of Sustainability, Producer and State Engagement at the National Pork Board. And Dr. Kaysen is also a show pig breeder. So he lives in Iowa, just west of Des Moines, where the National Pork Board is located. But he's really the man behind the vision for the pork industry and what the sustainability goals and metrics will be. So we do leave the land in a better place than what it is today. Next would be Steve Lurch, and Steve, he would be an ex-Googler, but Steve is really a storyteller, and Steve is an individual who works with us here at the Oklahoma Pork Council to do all of our, support us in our digital marketing. So if you see an ad that says something about pork in Oklahoma, and it's on right, a platform which Google is friendly, and Google, as you know, is really the way in which we consume information on the internet. But Steve has a career connected to the pork industry that you might not have imagined. We talked about Angie Johnson earlier. Angie is a bank president at First United, and her and her husband have pig farms, but then she also runs the bank in Milwaukee. So if you are interested in numbers or any piece of the banking element, you can do that and still be a member of Oklahoma's pork industry. This is my good friend, Dr. Ruth Inman, and Dr. Inman was formerly a professor at Oklahoma State. She just most recently left to take a position with AgroPulse, and she is really trailblazing the path for social media. So Dr. Inman was educating young people, now educating folks in a different way, but this is her son, and her son shows pigs. She very much has a connection to the pork industry and that number that makes up 34,000. This would be a familiar face to many of us. Secretary Blaine Arthur, our Secretary of Agriculture, and also the president of the State Board of Ag. We work very closely with Secretary Arthur and her entire team at the Department of Ag. And so you can see just another way that this concept of her career path, her appointed position by the governor has a connection into the pork industry and pork industry careers, as well as one of her team members, Dr. Rod Hall, who is an animal health official. He's our state veterinarian. This is Dr. Hall seated here at the Bacon and Bourbon event, which the Pork Council hosts, along with his wife and family and friends. Very important to have relationship with Dr. Hall, both on a personal as well as professional level, because Dr. Hall is the one that really is the gatekeeper for herd health in the state of Oklahoma. This family and this FFA advisor might look familiar. Megan Thorman-Scored from the Kingfisher FFA, a very important connection into the pork industry careers. We couldn't do what we do here in the state of Oklahoma, having the different segments of pork production, without the many FFA advisors and those that teach ag. So a quick shout out and thank you, but just an idea to plant in your mind that doing something like being an FFA advisor very much has a pork industry career connection. This is a fun one. This is Chef Jeff Marlowe, and he is actually the interim director of the Community Food Bank of Oklahoma. And he is also a chef. And so you can see that there are ways that you can work in pork, be connected to pork, serve pork, and be involved in a really great industry. And then let's see here, maybe my final career to share with you would be the concept of being a registered dietitian. This is my friend Kara Belke. She formerly worked at Schnucks, which is a grocery store chain in the Missouri area. Now she's at the National Pork Board, and she is actually the one that is thinking of things like the USDA My Plate and positioning pork as part of a healthy lifestyle. So a pork industry career that you might not have thought, but you can be a registered dietitian and work in pork. So what do all these folks have in common? I wanted to come up with a list of attributes and really put into perspective that you, no matter who you are, where you're sitting, what you do, you can be involved in the pork industry and there's a place for you. The concept of being agile, having integrity, having passion, courage, resilience, being visionary, those are many of the characteristics of the folks that I've introduced you through this slideshow. And hope that you have found someone's story that's interesting to you, relevant to you, that maybe encourages you to think and consider working in pork. At the bottom of the slide, okpork.org/realporkjobs will give you an idea of all the pork career opportunities that are here in the state through our different pork production companies, and a great resource for you all to look at here in the future. And I'll close with this. We're all proud of pork being real and the flavor that goes along with pork. So if you choose a career in the pork industry, that's fantastic. If you choose a career in another industry, that's fantastic as well. Stay in ag, but we hope that you'll consider eating pork. Again, the pork industry needs you. And here are a few of the platforms which you can find the Oklahoma Pork Council. We're on all of the digital platforms that are out there today, but for certain, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram are a few good places to find us. And I'll leave this slide here again with that URL of our jobs page, okpork.org/realjobs, and then my email address for either students who are interested in a career in pork or a teacher. Please do drop me a note and look forward to connecting with you all in more detail offline.
Kylie, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. And I noticed that there was a little shout out to Rose Bonjour on there, who we work with very closely there at the end, enjoying her little skewer of pork, whatever it was. So glad to see that. I've known Rose a long time. I don't know if it's a summary or what, but the information you and Scott both shared, it's just evidence that whatever passion you have in your life as far as what you want to do in a job, there's a spot for you in the ag industry. And whether it's in the mechanical side, which I know Scott does, or if it's in the food production side, which you're a part of, there's so many avenues that if a student has an interest, there's going to be something for them in an ag-related occupation. And to me, that was what was so evident in what you and Scott covered today. And I'm just thankful I got to be a part of this to kind of see that and grow and learn from that as well. Kara, Karen, Whitney, Patrick, do we have any questions in the chat?
No questions in the chat. Lots of shout outs to Rose Bonjour. And speaking of Rose, I also see Clark Long is on here today. Welcome, Clark.
Thank you. I know we have a lot of people from our state agency here. One, I know Scott is here, and Scott Nemechek, our program manager, and we'll have a little bit of information on him here pretty quick. But anyway, Kylie and Scott, thank you both so much for being a part of this and just making this a really good OEIP. And I was real excited that we could, kind of bring this to all of our ag people. And especially, I know there's a lot of classes on there. I saw that in the chat and I see some of the pictures. Man, so thankful for the classrooms that joined us today. We're so glad to have you, and look forward to you joining us at future OEIPs as well. And so a big shout out to the teachers that brought their classes into this. We're just thankful to have you and look forward to working with you down the road. Now, to wrap up, I do want to take care of a few things here. You've certainly given us some things to think about, and to probably, the next time we consume pork or go to somewhere that's pork related, or when you look at a John Deere tractor, probably gives us something else to think about than what we did previously. So at this time, as I mentioned, between Scott and Kylie's presentation, we have some gift cards that we would like to announce winners of. So if we could, I would like to turn this over to Kara. And Kara, if you have our winners, could you please share with us who those might be?
Sure. On behalf of today's sponsors, I'd like to announce our 2 gift card winners. As a reminder, our sponsors are Tech Labs, P&K Equipment, the Oklahoma Port Council, Career Tech, and the Oklahoma Aeronautics Commission. And our winners, our first winner is Ag Ed instructor Josh Gilstrap and his Stillwell Indians. Congratulations. And our second winner is Ag Ed instructor Rebecca Stiles and her Norman High School Tigers. Congratulations. Your gift card will be in the mail soon.
Congratulations, Josh and Rebecca. So glad you could join us today. We're happy for you, and just happy that we could provide this for you. Again, I want to thank Kylie and Scott for being on here. We appreciate your insights, your expertise, and especially your support for Oklahoma ag education. In addition, if you have any other questions regarding careers and certifications in ag ed, please feel free to reach out to Scott Nemechek at our agency. I think Karen has posted his information in there, or will shortly. And so Scott is the program Career Tech Agriculture Education Program Specialist, Scott Nemechek. And his email should be in there, and his phone number, 405-743-5495. And then you can always go to the State Division's website at, our OK Career Guide will be on there as well. So anyway, we're very thankful for Scott and his leadership in the Ag Division. If I didn't say your name, for all of those that are here at the agency that have joined us today, thank you very much. We appreciate your support and your interest in what we're trying to do here. Finally, if you haven't enrolled in our next OEIP, join us next month. That will be coming up. I believe we're focusing on STEM careers. Is that correct, Karen? Oh, there we go. Join us in March. It is on STEM, and there's the information where you can, it's in the chat now, so you can go and see what we have there. With that, I am going to close and thank you for this great morning that we've had. Are there any other last questions that might be available for our presenters to address? Hearing none and seeing none, Scott and Kylie, again, once more, thank you so much for your participation. And my team, so thankful for your participation and your help today.